It's what actually you were talking about in developmental psychology. We actually don't say children are like a totally blank paper because, as you said, they were born something with nature. So we always say like the gene environment interaction. So just like you have 4 kids, they are still different. They have something in their nature, but also how you create the environment, or you say the experience for them, may lead them to the different future. So I'm thinking like, what should we do to create a better environment for the kids to actually to learn? But the dilemma is that for our generation, at least for me, intuitively, I will distinguish play and learn, even though I agree that children do learn from play, but especially in Chinese culture, parents sometimes will say, don't play now, go to do your work, you should learn, and you should study hard. So if we don't change this mind, and you will not be able to think in the way that you can actually create a better environment for the kids.
Fully agree. I heard so many times, stop play, go for learning. And then I give a warning, I say, this is the same thing. But I'm agreed, the reason is it still comes from our measurement. We are now living in a society, we try to measure everything. The learn out of play is hard to measure. And in schools we often have a kind of a shame to say how we can measure the outcome. That's the dilemma. Therefore, play become minority as the teach and the response of teaching we can measure. The nature of catching a fish, then we need to measure how big was the fish. I mean, very big. So, but it's hard to measure the outcome, and we're living in a society where we believe much more in what's your record, what's the measurement behind of what you learn. I think it starts with that. I had a dialogue with a person called Yan Dongping. He's in Beijing of 21 educator for 21st century of education. And he told me the big dilemma we have, for example, we have the PISA study and we try to measure, and China win most of the time. We are so proud about our kids. They win so many competitions on math, on language, on many things. But we're missing a lot of what we call soft fact. The engagement with each other. They study hard to achieve a result, but it's very hard to predict if you don't have an engagement.
I think, and as an educator in China, I can relate to the struggle. I think there is a really gap between parents and educators. Educators do see the play should be open-ended, but parents continuously ask for results. What did you learn? Show me, like you said, they want something measurable, but we cannot all the time measure the play, the outcome, the social emotional gain out of the play. So I think there needs to be dialogue between parents and educators to try to give the message to them how social emotional learning is maybe more important than the factual learning, important than information. Because in the 21st century, the learning skills that are very important are communication, are critical thinking, are much more to do with how you deal with life, your social skills, how you communicate, how you make your message come across, rather than knowing, oh, this is the cup. So I think we have to have dialogue between educators and parents and understand what is the best for our children.
Critical thinking is a good point. Problem solving skills.
Yes,
we have so many problems laying in front of our children. Give them the skill how to solve problems, how to allocate problems, and how to solve them. That could be a very good skill. But as you say, and I heard it several times, many of these things are not measurable, and we're living in a society who like to measure everything. I think the dilemma lays in there.
Especially in China, you see all the extra training or extra lessons, even
Tutoring
for sports like table tennis, they create different levels. So that this result can show the parents, which level your kids reach.
Yeah, they keep comparing. Compare with others, but you have to be compared to yourself.
Yes, right.
You improve within, like Peter mentioned, but they always compare, this cup is better than this. So this is what creates problem.
Yes, this is
they create different levels to fulfill the demand of parents. want
They
to
adjust
have.
to parents'
Yeah.
requirements rather than
That doesn't
education.
mean anything. They just fulfill the demand of the parents.
It's a business.
It doesn't, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
business.
it
It's a
is.
business.
Trust me, it is. It is. I came to
I
that
agree, it's a
conclusion
business.
too.
Because I'm thinking what we are talking about, actually, the starting point, maybe for me, at least I see, is how we view the kid. Like the image of the child, how we see the child. So when you think that the child is weak and he needs to be taught, so you will do a lot of that. When I was working with my college students, they will be preschool teachers later on. I always say, do not think much of teaching, but the first step we may need to do is to think about how we can protect the children's nature, how we can nurture or create an environment that can keep their inner motivation. So do not say many no to the kids, or don't try to phrase or construct the environment in a way that can let them explore or something like that. But to say that it's easy, to do that is quite difficult.
Agree.
So what do you see in your school?
I think in our school is an international school, so we still encourage more open-ended play or letting kids try, observe a lot. But still, I feel like still parents' demand get in the way in some places, and we still try to fulfill the demand. So still, again, I feel like the dialogue should be continuously done between educators and parents, which is really difficult right now, I think. And
Do you have any specific example that is so impressive for you? As you mentioned, the parents' different thinking style or something.
I think just general idea would be if kids are 2 to 3 years old, we are encouraging them play, have an open-ended play to experience, to do play pretend and explore and communicate with their peers. But parents will still say, oh, what did they learn? Show me, what did they learn measurably? And even they ask their children, what did you learn today? Very measurably.
Yeah, like yesterday we talked to you about the drawing. For kids, actually kids no need to learn painting. Every kids can be a very good artist. Every kid. But a lot of parents, they will
Send
them to the
special
art
drawing
graphics.
classes.
Actually, it's the wrong way. It's totally wrong. It's opposite.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what Peter said. First, whatever is from you inside, express, and if you like it and you want to go deeper, then for the next step to become professional could be taught.
If you really like to become an engineer after you practice, you can learn and you can
After
be
your
teach to be professional, like a lawyer or like an engineer or doctor. But the interest to gain, to really, really study hard, this must be first. Otherwise, it's a waste of money. I think there's thousands of piano schools in China with hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of students. But I would say 95% is a waste of money. As the children in their life will never play piano, they are forced too hard to learn.
99%.
99%.
You can ask some colleagues from Hape who was born after 1995. We can ask. I think some of them already played the piano quite a lot when they were little.
Sure.
Ask them to play now.
But now they didn't play anymore.
No interest, no
Yeah.
personal
Yeah.
motivation.
So that is a
You have
waste.
to
That is a
learn
waste of
piano.
resources, it's a waste of money, and it's a
Time.
waste of time of childhood.
Yeah.
So-
Playing time,
no, but-
actually
but
they can play other things.
you really believe it's 99%?
99%.
Yeah, sure.
If the children, students cannot play piano, you're very strange in class.
The society
Mindset
thinking
of-
or the
I
mindset
think
or
it's because China developed so parents is very urgent.
I think especially in our society, most parents like to follow, want to follow. If your kids learn,
Let me do this
yeah,
too.
Just like
I
you
would
said,
agree.
just like you said before that the parents ask us children, what have you learned
Yeah, very
from this topic or
specifically.
from this activity? They just want to know, my money is valuable. I mean, the investment is valuable.
But kids first absorb. They might not give you an answer, I learned this. But there's absorption going on in their mind, right? It takes them time to realize whatever they've learned. They cannot answer your question now, but in future, if they experiment a lot the same thing, they will come to conclusion what that means.
Yes.